nobody else. No, I ain't tryna be like nobody else. No, I ain't tryna be like nobody else. Cause I'm having too much fun tryna be myself. No, I'm not the type of chick that like to follow trends. I got a small circle, no, don't need a lot of friends. You know I gotta get this money cause I like to spend. I see you haters watching, so I just give you a grin.
How you guys doing? It's your girl Lambda. I'm here with another episode of Justheretovent. So you already know we about to get into that Real Housewives of Atlanta review, season 15, episode 13. So I think they're done at Portugal. They came back home. They made it back home. Their last day was kind of whack. You know, the whole trip was actually whack. They had a couple of little moments where people were trying to turn up, but I didn't feel like any of them were relevant, especially because the one fight that they didn't really let us see because they did a lot of clip, like, you know, they kept doing flashbacks, was when Drew and Candy were arguing. So you know that continued over into this episode where everybody's like talking like, so Drew and Sheree was talking to each other. Basically in the last episode, Sheree was saying, so you saying Candy is lying. Well, of course Sheree went back and told Candy the tea that Drew basically said that Candy was lying on her and that she feels like Candy was trying to produce, basically put that information out there to make people more interested in the movie, so it could seem like, you know, Drew got this thing where she like girls. That's what Drew is saying the narrative is. I'm gonna be honest, I don't personally believe Drew. We have heard Toya say numerous times that, you know, she kissed Drew like in, you know, a couple years ago when she was still on the season. I don't know. I think that maybe Drew's trying to lie to save face because, you know, her mom is a pastor and, you know, in the church, the Christian church, Baptist, whatever, you know, religion you want to call it, in the Bible it does, you know, state about how it is felt about homosexuality. So I feel like maybe she doesn't want to cop to that because of how she grew up and that her mom is a pastor. That could have something to do with it. I hear a lot of people saying that Candy is trying to out Drew. No, I think Candy is trying to clear her name based off of them saying that she's a liar. So she doesn't want to be portrayed as a liar. Now, do I feel like Candy is dragging it a little too hard, like on social media? I do personally feel like that, but you know, I know that they play up a lot of that stuff on social media for the show to help viewers, because you know they do need help with the viewers. The viewers is not giving what they said it was supposed to have gave this season around. Like, it's just not, it's not giving. Okay, it's just the bottom line to it, you know. So I just feel like that's what's really happening with Candy, why she's kind of extra like on Instagram posting stuff like the old videos of Toya. Now, in this particular episode, we did see a scene with Sanya and her sister. Her sister basically was just saying, you know, we do feel some type of way, we ready to leave. She was telling Sanya, like, you always apologizing, you always saying you're going to change this, and you changed in that moment, and then like a week or so go by and you basically go right back to the same behavior. So she feels like Sanya doesn't have any real change, she doesn't have real accountability, and she seems to be selfish a little bit in the way that she's running their lives as well as her own. So that's pretty much what's going on. I do see Sanya as being manipulative. She does always cry to try to make her sister feel bad. And then she tries to blame her sister, like in the confessional, saying, you know, she's a Gemini. She's basically trying to call her bipolar in a nice way. Like, oh, when she's all this way, she's good. When she's all this way, she's bad. So that's kind of like how she was portraying her to me. I do feel like maybe she should take a little more accountability. We already know next week they're going to announce that, I guess, Sanya is pregnant or whatever. And we also got the reunion looks too. Tell me what y'all think about those down in the comment. So after that situation with Sanya, I know that Candy was throwing this party. She ended up telling Ty, like, hey, I don't mind if we have friends in the movie and everything like that, but like make sure that they can act. And I respect Candy for that, because she's not just going to give somebody a job, just like she ain't just give Kenya a role or offer her a role just because Kenya has been in other stuff. She might not have been right for this. So I do respect Candy that she's not just going to be like, oh, you in it because you my friend. So that was cool. It was like, all right, that's what's up. Now we get to Drew's house. Her and her and Ralph is basically talking about, you know, looks like everybody getting ready for the holidays. Her and Ralph is talking about, you know, situation that happened. And, you know, Drew comes to him and tell him, like, basically Candy trying to accuse her of kissing a girl and all this other stuff. And, you know, Ralph said he feels some type of way about the stuff that Marlo said, because, you know, he invited them to his house, and he feel like, you know, why is my name in your mouth? Why is you being disrespectful? So that's kind of like where they are. It looks like Drew and Ralph, they don't even seem like they have any affection towards each other. It just doesn't. I'm trying to figure out where's the love. They really seem like buddies versus a relationship. They don't seem like intimate. You know, I don't get that from them. I don't know if it's the facades that they're putting on. I really don't know. They showed a quick little flashback of Ralph from a different scene, but they was trying to make it seem like that was the scene from Vegas because, you know, he went out there to be part of the Black Magic City. We all know that that's bullshit. Ralph, you cute, but you ain't all that. And who the hell says you knew how to dance? Boy, bye. You went out there to go see a bitch. The girl that was oiling you up, she wanted to oil you know what up to. I'm just saying, like, that's what it was given to me. If I was Drew, I definitely know he fucked somebody else while he was in Vegas, allegedly. Now, so Candy is throwing like this peach party. You know, she got these peach buzz balls. They're like part of her candy, what is that called? It's not candy coated. It's her sex toy line. I can't think. For some reason, it's on the precipice of my tongue, but I can't get it out. But her candy, her toy line, bedroom candy. That's what it's called. Bedroom candy. She got a new product out. She had like some stuff going on. It's a bunch of different photo booths set up, which I thought was a really cute idea. It's called the Peach Museum, something like that. I don't know if it's a real museum or if it was just museum for that particular day. If this is something that's going to continue on, where they'll be changing the backdrops for photos. I really didn't get that part of it, so maybe they'll hit a little bit more on that on the reunion. I doubt it because it wasn't that significant in the show, but I kind of am curious, so I do want to know like if that's something that's ongoing or it was just for the night. So of course we know. Before we get to that, we had that scene with Marlo with her nephews. They was telling her to bring Scotty over, you know, for the holidays. I think, again, that was rehearsed. She was talking to her friend of the show. I still don't know this lady's name. And basically saying, like, the guy parties too much. You know, he like that nightlife. And she's not sure how she feel about that. So I'm telling her husband. Again, I don't think she's really into this guy. I think that she's just playing it up so she can have a quote-unquote storyline, you know. Then we get to the party. You know, Drew is still maintaining her word. Of course, she's the last to arrive. To Candy's event. They was all saying how nice it looks good. And then, you know, Sanya had me cracking up in the confessional when she was like, okay, something under balls, check. What else? Now, that part made me feel like, okay, you kind of got some Pisces remnant in you. You know, you definitely ain't nothing like me. But that part had me laughing because it's like, okay, when it comes to sex, I'm like, so what else you could do? Oh, word, cool. Because I like to be the best at everything I do, you know, and that's definitely one of those things that I take my hat off to myself. For real, though. All right, so moving on from that, Drew finally gets there. You know, Marlo is over there trying to chat it up, but Ralph is paying that bitch dust. Like, he real dry with her because, you know, he feels disrespected about the text. So she basically told Ralph what she said, like, hey, she asked me, what do I do? And I said, I do the same thing your husband do. I work in tech, which is exactly what she said. I'm sure that Drew came back to Ralph telling him it was more than what she said it was. So that's probably why he got that impression. I guess they made up. I'm not really sure. So then Toya ends up showing up. And y'all know that Cynthia also came to see Candy. Now, Cynthia and Candy scene was kind of cute. Cynthia was still talking about them high cheekbones, girl. It was good to see Cynthia, though. But I could tell she seems like she's kind of over it and kind of tired with this whole thing. I could tell she didn't want to talk about her divorce from Mike at all. Like, Candy did mention it, but she didn't really elaborate on that. She was saying she'll be back in Atlanta a lot more back because she missed her home. And, you know, it really wasn't nothing about but just catching up with her. She told Candy that she was going to be at her event, and she was like, now that she's single, she definitely could use some beer from Candy. That was funny. Now, at the event, Toya is there. She was sitting there in the chair, one of the little settings that they have for the photo ops, and her and Candy was talking. So then Drew comes in there and sits on Toya's lap. But that made me feel like maybe Drew did pay Toya something to lie and say that they didn't kiss. You know, because now Toya is trying to make it seem like she doesn't really remember. And then she asks Drew, like, basically, do you feel like Candy is genuine? Why would you think that she would make this up? So it kind of feels like she's not really sure what happened either, or she's pretending like she's not sure what happened. Whatever the case may be, they about to drag this. And I really wish that they wouldn't, because y'all bringing a 2-year-ago drama trying to make this particular season relevant. And I'm going to be honest, it's falling flat. I love Candy. I love Kenya. I love Candy. I love Kenya. But it's definitely a time for the reboot. You know, I don't know if y'all gonna keep them on there. But I'm really kind of tired of seeing Drew. She's just always lying. I don't necessarily mind Sanya. She's not 100% boring. Her family's more interesting than her. So I guess if we want to keep seeing them, I guess she could stay on the show. But I feel like Marlo, Stroke Face Courtney, and Drew, I think it's time for all of them to kind of like exit stage left. That's just my personal opinion. Y'all tell me what y'all think about that. I do feel like Candy is dragging it, like I said, for the show on the internet, because they like, oh, why should it matter? I did see a couple of people in the comments like, well, why you going so hard? You ain't like it when Portia and Phaedra did what they did to you, but Portia and Phaedra were actually saying a lie. According to Candy, what she's stating is true. So I'm like I said, I'm not always trying to, you know, be on Candy's ass or take her side, but I'm just trying to give y'all like, okay, how those two situations are different. They're not the same at all. That was a complete lie. Candy is saying this actually happened, and there's other people confirming that. So y'all tell me what y'all think about that. I guess we just gonna wait till next episode. I wasn't really that impressed. I'll give this episode like a 6. It was a little bit dry. The only thing that was exciting was Candy's party and to see the settings, but that was about it. It was just like nothing really going on in this episode. Y'all tell me what y'all thought. Make sure y'all hit that like, to subscribe, the notification bell, share if you care. Tell me what y'all thought again of this episode. Thanks for listening, and I'll see y'all in the next video.